In September of 2023, I was diagnosed with a rare cancer for women, esophageal cancer, with the help of friends, photojournalist Eric Sorensen, producer Crystal Allen, and even some help from my husband, Jim Wise. Our home was converted into a temporary TV set so I could tell my story in the hopes of helping anyone else trudging through a difficult journey. By the way, I wouldn't be able to tell this story without the support of leadership, David Riggleman and Diana Paul with the Department of Communications.
Well, Nancy, we really appreciate you for being so willing to be so open and share your story. And, I guess the first question is, why was it so important for you to share this? Because for a lot of people, that can be very difficult. It's something that's very personal, and maybe they may not want everyone to know about it.
I got to thinking this cancer journey is very difficult. And there's a lot of questions when you enter into it. There's a lot of fear, trepidation. And I thought, if I can help one person not have to deal with questions or feel like they can come to me, whether they know me personally or not, or I can answer a question without them having to even contact me, that would make me feel like this journey is not only going to be successful for me, because it is, but it's going to help others as well. And that's real important to me. I've always been empathetic toward people in hard situations.
Let's rewind a little bit, because boy, what a journey it has been over the last couple of months. Let's go back to the beginning and how this all started and when you knew something's not right.
Yeah. Now, and this is one of the lessons that I want to portray to people is you've got to listen to your body. I knew something was wrong because I've never had stomach or indigestion issues, never, ever. And I had what I thought was like acid reflux, and I wanted to attribute it to stress, or maybe I'm getting older and I need to watch what I eat and how long before I go to bed I eat, that kind of thing. But I just knew something wasn't right. So my father had colon cancer, so my brothers and I have always had to get colonoscopies every like 5 or 6 years. So I was due for that, and I thought, you know what? This is a good opportunity for me to maybe tell the doctor, let's do an upper GI while you're in there. So I had to be proactive there because I have no history of needing an upper GI, but I had to convince them, because I knew something was wrong, to do it. So it's not like I had to fight with them, but I had to kind of push to get that done. And sure enough, I went in, my husband and I are sitting there after the procedure, and the doctor moves the curtains aside and says, you have cancer.
The last thing I know you were expecting to hear.
And I heard nothing after that. So something else I would say to people is, if it's a friend, if it's a neighbor, if it's anything, if you're going in for any kind of testing where you even have the slightest suspicion that something could come back as a shock, you need someone there.
I think that's a good point to be made, because I know you and I love you, and I know that we can be very similar in this respect, that we just want to handle it on our own, and we won't reach out a lot of times for help. So I think it's important that you make that point, that there's someone you love and you trust and can be there for you, that they're there for you in those moments. That's really important.
Well, and then following that, here comes the advocacy again lesson, in that the doctor was going to put a stat on getting the biopsies back. He knew what he saw because he's been doing this for 20 years and he was an experienced doctor, but still you have to wait for the biopsies to come back, and then you have to get a CAT scan to see if it's spread anywhere else. And I was having a hard time getting appointments done expediently. And when it's you, this isn't routine, and I wanted it done yesterday. So again, I would find myself coming up against some roadblocks. And until you get all those scans and tests, no one's going to do any treatment because they don't know what they're dealing with yet. So
all the more reason why you had to be a little more assertive in getting that process going, right?
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's different. For me, I just wanted it taken care of because I was still in the state of shock. So my husband had done some research, and even though I did not want to leave my home and my dogs and my husband and my friends, I had to get out of my comfort zone, and we realized that going to City of Hope in Phoenix, where they do nothing but cancer, which means they do everything immediately. You get blood drawn in the morning, you got the results an hour later. You need a CAT scan, you get it done 2 hours later, that kind of thing. So for me, even though I didn't want to leave my home, because I knew I was going to be literally moving out of the house for like 7 weeks, which I did, and lived in a hotel, If I wanted this done quickly, this is where I needed to be. So I guess what I want to tell people is do your research. And there are good doctors here, very good. I have a wonderful oncologist here. So, but I just was impatient and I wanted it done now. So that's what brought me to decide to move out of my house.
And you talk about what was happening during those 7 weeks.
I was able to live in a hotel affiliated with the hospital I was there for about 7 weeks. So I had radiation 5 days a week, chemo once a week for 6 weeks. And yeah, it was hard being away, but I will tell you that it certainly showed me the support and love. I'm so blessed. I have a friend who would call me every morning and pray with me. I had a coworker / friend who sent me flowers, always checked in with me. I had people who came to visit me, people I used to work with at Channel 8, who literally dropped what they were doing and came and spent the night in Phoenix to be with me. My brother, my sister-in-law, my good friend Kim Owens. I was hardly ever alone. Of course, when they left, it was like turned into a puddle. But boy, you really can see, you know, how blessed and fortunate you are by your circle of support. And it also taught me another thing that's very important, and is that when people say, "What can I do? Can I come see you?" Don't cry.
Sorry.
Can I come see you? I want to come see you. Say yes, because they mean it.
Talk a little bit about kind of now, after having gone through that 7 weeks, how you're making that transition back.
I came home and I found out through another endoscopy that the tumor had shrunk significantly to about the size of a grain of rice. So my husband and I, being not doctors, thought, oh, this is going to be easy. They're going to do surgery. They'll just suck up that little grain of rice and everything will be fine. Well, we just found out recently that the surgery is a little more invasive than that, and it's going to be another mountain to climb. But we are choosing to be positive, and we are choosing to count the blessings instead of why me. You know, there's going to be that, and I'm going to be honest with people. I had one big meltdown because it's the bucket that fills up, and you get the news about what your surgery is going to entail, and you're tired. And I broke out in a rash all over my body because I had a reaction to an antibiotic that I was given. It's like, okay, I can't. And I had a meltdown, and my husband was there and he said, it's okay, get it out. It's like let some steam off. And then I was fine. And then we were able to take a breath, get a good night's sleep, and get up the next day and talk about, doctor could have said, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. I can't be your surgeon. If anyone can do it, I can and I can't. That didn't happen. I've got a rock for a husband. I've got God in my corner. I've got a circle of support from coworkers, people I work for, people I work with, my wonderful friends and family. Some people don't have that. Some people don't have that. But you know what? You are never alone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you don't feel like no one cares. I care. I care, and I'm reachable on Facebook, and I just don't want anyone to ever feel alone. A lot of cancer institutions here and in other states, they have support groups. Somebody cares, and I do. So I'm young, healthy, and strong, and I'm going to get through this, and we'll do part 2 after that.
That's right, because there's another chapter.
There is.
Hi there, I'm Crystal Allen. Hope you enjoyed that story. For more stories about the city of Las Vegas, don't forget to click on that box.